Hey there guys, how are you doing? Welcome again to my YouTube channel. Find me at June Helen 66. Please subscribe and watch all my other videos. I've done videos about mental health awareness, depression, and few cooking vlogs. And please subscribe to my channel, click my links and watch to the end, and I appreciate it. So guys, today I'm going to talk about Boychild, how Boychild has been neglected, how Boychild has been forgotten, especially in the 21st century. We've been concentrating a lot on girl child, on the rights of the girl child, on what the girl child needs, forgetting that the boy child also needs a lot. The boy child also is there. So today I'm going to remember any boy child anywhere, and by boy child I mean men, I mean boys, you know. So generally the male gender, you know. So please watch and listen up to the end. So guys, Boychild amekuwa neglected in so many instances. Number one, in relationships, unapata Boychild amenyanyaswa sana, you know. And you know, relationships nowadays, Boychild amekuwa like he and everything, and you find that these male genders rather, when you unapata they are not well off financially, most of them are neglected, especially in relationships. When I say relationships, I mean dating. So girls of nowadays, when you're dating, squeezy mostly tunaangalia financial stability, you know. And ukipata Boychild yani hana kakiru, inakuwa ngumu, you know. So I'm not defending the Boychild, but at least you guys, my fellow ladies, you should also understand this Boychild. Unapata wao pia wao kuna vile wamefinyika, especially these relationships in campus. Unapata a guy pia, it's a parent who is supporting that guy. Unapata anatumiwa rent, anatumiwa pesa ya shopping, anatumiwa basically everything, you know. Alafu pia wewe una need 2k urgently to this guy mwenye hata let me use this language, mwenye hata cowboy ananunuliwa na parent wake. You see, it becomes hard for him kukusupport wewe, and yet he's also struggling financially. So sometimes you should understand them, but instead unapata mademu wengi end up mi ujamaa na do, mi manzo wangu bana, mi sioni tukienda naye mahali, alafu you know, mimi itabidi tu nimuache cause I don't see tukienda up na yeye cause hata ani support. You know, girls of nowadays pia wanataka mtu anamsupport, something like a sponsor, and especially kwanza akikuwa na sponsor, Boychild hauna bahati. Boychild utabaki hapo sijui, yani inakuwa ngumu. So today I'm speaking on behalf of Boychild. Please, sometimes we understand that this guy is also struggling somewhere. Alafu leave alone hata wale wana school. There are these guys who have already graduated, ama wale pia wakufanikiwa maybe ku graduate or to go from one step to another, but they are also struggling. Unapata na struggle, anatumia demu yake something kitu kidogo. Alafu unapata mademu pia kwa hizi groups za mwenye unapata demu anasema Michelle lengo alinipeleka Swimo, tukaenda maybe Camel Parks, tukaenda restaurant fulani, tukaenda resort fulani, tukakula chicken pizza, pepperoni pizza, tukakula all those. So unapata demu yako ako hapo pia yeye ako like so unapendwa. Sasa yeye akifikiria yule jamaa wake pesa mtumia mingi 600 ama 500, anasema I really need some other guy, I really need another guy. So you see, unapata maybe ataenda break up with the other guy, ama akikutana na someone who is potentially financially stable than her guy, definitely atakutoka, una get. So I'm also trying to put myself in that shoe of being a boy child who is struggling, and something small yenye mimi napata ndio natumia my lady. You see, I also have another story. So this story, I had a friend mwenye hata in fact he was my friend, yes, and he had this lady, and so this lady alikuwa around 26 years, and the guy was around 29. So this guy alikuwa hakuwa well off financially, but alikuwa na struggle kufanya some hustles here and there because hakuwa amepata a stable job yet. So alikuwa anafanya some contracts here and there. So this lady walikuwa wamedate for like a year. So ikafika second year, udem akaanza so utafute job ingine, like you need a stable job, me also need to support my parents, also need to support myself, so you should look for a stable job. So this guy was asking me, Aki, honestly June, I've really tried to apply for over 100 jobs, nimetuma applications here and there, but I haven't yet gotten a stable job. But this lady of mine is really putting a lot of pressure on me, a lot of pressure here and there, that no, lazima utafute job, mi lazima uni support, kama sivyo mimi I don't think we can proceed with this. So I was also asking him, does this guy really loves you? Does this lady really loves you? So the guy was like, okay, wacha tu ni try where I can, nitafute tu somewhere that I can get stability, because hizi contracts alikuwa napata, they were not guaranteed. Anaweza pata for example for 1 week, next week ajapata, alikuwa amefanya something like electrical engineering, and so alikuwa anapata contracts, sometimes apati, so ilikuwa 50-50. So in this huyu dem alikuwa anapenda, yani ni wale madem wanapenda ile do kabisa. I know there is no lady mwenye apendi do, but I think this lady was too much, because I remember this guy angewahi hata niambia Aki nifulizie 1000 peke yake, I only have 1000 na nimekopa mshwari nataka kutumia Tina. Now the girl, the lady, so nikamwambia so umtumie 1000, mwambie maybe alikuwa anataka 2k urgently, but unamwambia uko na 1k, unasema no, I understand. So I was like, I understand. Sometimes ningemfulizia anamtumia. So this jamaa, yani hata angefanya anything, hata kama ni kukopa, just to satisfy the lady, you know. And sometimes hata nilikuwa namhurumia. I used to have pity on him because alikuwa na struggle a lot, but it's like this lady never understood him. And not only him, there are so many men out here who are really struggling, but their ladies cannot understand them. I think we should. So, number 2, the issue of resources. When it comes to resources, especially maybe tuseme in schools. So unapata maybe these ladies, the girl child anapatiwa things like maybe pads, you know, to support them during their menstrual cycles. Yani so many things zina happen in this generation, ni girl child anakuwa. Remember that when it comes to education also, kitambo ndio ilikuwa like the girl child amekuwa neglected, but squeezy people are much concentrating on the boy child, on the girl child's education rather than the boy child. So boy child hata akiacha shule, the society doesn't care, but girl child lazima atakuwa highlighted, like why. I know they say when you educate a lady, you're educating the whole society. Yes, hatukatai. But also we shouldn't forget the boy child. Yeah? Unapata wengi wanaenda kuwa street kids because anyway, no one understands them, no one remembers them, no one will even hakuna mtu atashtuka like what is the boy child doing in the street. The same way mtu anashtuka akiona girl child ameacha shule and she's there in the streets. They will definitely do something. But what about the boy child? Amekuwa neglected in some way or the other. And so I think the society should also understand the needs of the boy child, and as ladies we should also understand these men. Sometimes they lack, sometimes they have, and when they don't have, it doesn't mean you'll skip from him to another, but sometimes it's a matter of time. Yeah, we just understand them. When they don't have, sometimes we to understand too. Sawa. And you know, I think this will make things easier. So guys, as I was saying, a lot has been done to give the girl child a voice in the society, forgetting about the boy child. We've seen activists, a group of people coming together to support the girl child, to give the girl child empowerment, because it is known that it is the weak agenda, you know. And you see, in this process, a lot has been done to them, forgetting the boy child. But the boy child has been left behind, while the girl child is enjoying her freedom. So, and coming out of a shell, the boy is fighting to be treated better, you know. And I feel like we should, the society should also remember that as much as the girl child needs this and that, also the boy child akona needs zake there. So I think even these gender, is it a gender development programs? These gender development programs, alafu the departments, ministries zenye zinasimamia mambo na gender, most of these ministries wame concentrate so much on the girl child needs zake, like how to plan about their future, how to plan about their ongoing life, you know. But I think the gender ministry inafaa kuwa na equality. It should be equal. Equality should be seen in these gender ministries and gender development ministries rather. But we've clearly seen that it is concentrating much on the girl child. And yes, I'm a girl child. I'm happy about that. But I'm also speaking on the behalf of the boy child. I'm putting myself in that shoe of the boy child. Now, what about him? And the female gender is considered to be the weaker sex, as I said earlier. And we are thought to lag behind in most things. In every field, a man is considered superior to that. Qualifying standards are lowered so we can fit in. Our issues are given more prominence since it is assumed men can handle their issues, you know. I believe girl is more likely to open up if overwhelmed by hurdles. On the other hand, a boy mostly bottles up every bit of anguish or pain. He has been brought up to not show weakness, and most cultures believe that a man keeps his issues to himself. Should he come and talk about it, his peers will call him weak. Unajua? So he will be told to deal with it in his own, that only women cry and expect to be helped. So the sad truth for their silent agony is because very few listen, rather than be shunned for speaking out. He will then secretly deal with it. Unaona? Sasa the society make a boy child akakuwa in such a way like wewe unaweza deal na problems zako. You are a man, like the society is telling you to man up. I remember even when it comes to depression and stress, unapata boy child yeye anaambiwa man up, you can do this. Unaambiwa, maybe for example you have a sister. The sister will be told, now your sister is the one who is supposed maybe to be suffering when maybe an undergo stress or something else. But you as a boy child, you as a man in the society, you are expected to be strong. You know, you're supposed to be jinjatic, yani unajijaza, yani even with problems unajiekea, even with problems. And you know, something like depression si kitu unaweza jiekea for a long time. That's why you find that many of these most of these our boy children our male children rather wanna end up to commit suicide silently, ama they end up dying of depression silently. Like a case I saw last week where a certain guy wa place known, I don't know, it's somewhere in Ogembo, ali commit suicide, and people were like, no, but this guy was okay, but this guy was physically well. Huyu jamaa tulikuwa tunamjua, huyu jamaa alikuwa anaongea na watu vizuri, huyu jamaa, kumbe this guy alikuwa ameacha barua. So the letter was saying like this, that mom, dad, I'm gone. You told me to always be a man in everything I do. And as I do whatever I want to do, I've done it out of being a man, you know? Like, I decided to man up even in ending my life. But please, take care of my siblings. And please, I hope they man up the way I did. And that was the end of the letter. And I was like, where? So, the society doesn't care about anything a boy child undergoes, including depression. You know, with this mental health, you cannot whether you are female or male, depression doesn't know that itakuhit, stress itakupiga, insomnia is there, overthinking, and depression is something like, I don't know if any one of you has ever undergone depression. Like me, I have undergone depression. I can't say I'm a victim of depression, but I think I can say I'm a survivor of depression. And being a survivor of depression, I know how depression feels. Depression feels like death. Depression feels like, depression is bad. It's unexplainable. It's an unexplainable feeling. If I start explaining to you here, I'll be emotional, because it's a feeling. One time you want to talk to so many people, one time you don't want to talk to anyone, another time you want to kill yourself, another time you don't see any meaning in life. There are sometimes I feel like I strangled to death, sometimes you're not yourself, you're confused, you don't know what to do, and then someone tells you to man up. And I think when you're depressed, getting someone to talk to, alafu pate someone who is judging you instead, you can even commit suicide even quickly than even be you even prefer to be an introvert than an extrovert, because sometimes you feel when you're talking to people they judge you, ama someone can give a comment that will even trigger your depression, it'll make ata useme I think I can't do this, I cannot do this. So I think when it comes to such mental health awareness, mental health na vitu zingine, don't tell a boy child to man up. Depression inahit kila mtu equally, whether you are female, whether you are male, whether you are transgender, intersex, hermaphrodite, LGBTQ, zote. Depression inakuhit like a person, like an individual. So please, let's treat our male kids the same way we treat our female kids, and let's not neglect them. So and I previously said that hata when it comes to maybe tuseme wanasemanga in marriage men should contribute more than women. So I think it depends, but sometimes pia when the boy child amelemewa kidogo, why can't I pay rent? Tuseme I'm in marriage, tuseme I'm a married woman and my husband maybe yes is working and I'm also working, and maybe ifike mahali amelemewa kidogo niambie I cannot be able to pay rent, I cannot be able to do this. I'll chip in. I'll tell him, honey, let me pay rent this month, and maybe next month ukikuwa stable then you can pay. Maybe other previous days amekuwa tu akilipa vizuri, and akilemewa doesn't mean you should man up and akope alipe, and yet you have. Sometimes women, let's understand these men, they are also going through a lot, pia wao wana go through a lot. They are also human beings like us. Doesn't mean we are too weak to support them. Sometimes even once in a while, I'm talking to the married couple, sometimes even these babes of yours, your husband always anasema, today is my wife's birthday, let me surprise her. Today is my wife's birthday, let me surprise. Most of hizi gifts, birthday gifts, anniversary gifts, husbands ndo uchip in, yeye ndiye anabuy presents. What about them? They're also human, they need presents. Sometimes once in a while, maybe tuseme ni birthday yake also, and maybe the trouser size yake ya trouser, and mtafutie a good khaki, and mtafutie a good suit, and mtafutie some good shoes, you know his type zenye anapenda. At least mtafutie the type he likes. Buy for him that perfume, buy for him that khaki. At least also surprise him. They feel good. These men also feel good when you surprise them. At least anajua, see, every time ni yeye anashinda kukusurprise, see, every time ni yeye anashinda kukupe gifts. They are also human, they need gifts, they need to be shown love. Once in a while mbaie, once in a while hata mwambie, today I'm taking you out. Ukilipwa salary unamwambia, honey, today I want to take you out somewhere, go to some resort, spoil him, mwambie pilatewa chenye unataka, a good drink, some good food, eat, pay the bills. Doesn't mean yeye kila sando haikuwekwa like it's always meant to pay bills, like it's always meant to do this or that, it's always meant to be the financiers of everything, you know. Hata sisi we can save where we can help them where we can, you know. So my fellow ladies, please do this. And let me tell you one thing again. These are, you might think as in this is mi nambaia aje kwani si akona do zake, like mi nambaia aje mwanaume present. No, don't say like that. In fact, ina make even your marriage to be stronger. Somehow inafanya your marriage inakuwa ni kama energizer to your marriage, yeah. Ina strengthen your bond, you know. And I think the society, and especially women, wako na zile groups. I think they're in these groups who wale wako like, unabaia aje boy wako kiatu, unabaia aje boy wako sijui nguo, unabaia aje sijui, how do you even spend on your husband? Kwani what about sijui nini? Hata sometimes even the other ladies wanaweza kudiscourage wakwambie yani maybe he has other women outside there, maybe he has some other ladies outside there, and you're still there spoiling her, ende angarie. You know, ladies, ende angarie namba ya kiatu, ende angarie dem mwingine huko. I'm buying you innerwears to go and remove for some other ladies there. I'm buying you shoes to go and show off on some other ladies. Fine, you go and show off. Maybe anyway, I'll buy you. If you want, you go show off to the other lady, but I know it's me who bought you anyway. If I bought you some innerwears and you decide to go and remove them from other, it's upon you. I've done my part. I've tried to support you where I can. So any man who is conscious cannot do some things some men do, you know. And a conscious mind, I don't think you can do some things, some I don't know how I'll call them, but it's not worth it, you know. And so I think the society should also support the boy child. Please, msisahau boy child. Mimi najiweka kwa shoe yao and I really feel them. The girl child pia hurumia boy child. Hurumia boy child pia anaweza kosa. Hurumia boy child pia sometimes si kila saa ako nayo. Hurumia boy child sometimes pia ako na depression, ako na stress zake, And women who especially wale wanapenda yeah, yani unaongea a lot, yani maybe some your husband is from work ama maybe ndiye anakuja ama maybe lakini wewe ni mdomo mingi here and there. Why can't you sit with your husband and tell him, I need to talk to you today, please, if you have some time, let's talk. Then shouting here and shouting does not help. You know, this tongue pia ina spoil, ata inaharibu kabisa. Unafanya hata, in fact, unamfukuza. You're sending them out. Because hata mimi, if I were in that shoe of a man, and then maybe I'm from somewhere, I'm tired, and then now, if I was a guy and a woman anakuja makelele, umetoka wapi sahi? Kwani hata jana ulikuwa wapi? Sijui nini, wewe kazi yako ni kukuja late. Trust me, it's like unanifukuza. You're sending me. I will go where there is peace. Yeah. I'll even decide to be either alone or go somewhere that I have peace of mind, yani where there is a better serene, an environment that is silent and cool for me to be able to concentrate and to cope well, and somewhere that is stable for my mental health, an environment that supports my mental health, you know. See, an environment where ni mdomo here and there, sijui umefanya nini, umekuja wapi. Sit with your husband. Tell him, whatever you did yesterday, I didn't like it. Ama, whatever you did the other day, you should refrain from that. Whatever you did, sikupenda. Like, sikupendezwa na vitu ambavyo wewe unavifanya. Sipendezwi na wewe kuja kwa nyumba kwa masaa ambayo hayastahili. Sipendezwi na wewe kufanya hiki na kile. Sipendezwi na wewe kuongea na Wanjiko. Sipendezwi na wewe kuongea na Betty. Sipendezwi sababu Betty anakupigia simu usiku wa manane, ama anakupigia simu when it's late rather at night, and I don't like that completely. Unamueleza how you feel. Unamueleza mimi inaniumiza. You know? And explaining to him that way, at least hata yeye anaona sense. Anaona sense, anakuambia he said of a story, maybe anakuambia, no, this Betty she's my colleague, but I will tell her not to call during late hours. She's my nini, anakueleza step by step hata wewe una understand. And at least maybe ukiona hakuna improvement, ama maybe ukiona there is no transition after mongea, that's when you tell him, you just tell him, if maybe we can't do this, fine, I think we can part ways. Ama kama imeshindikana kabisa, you'll know how to deal with the situation, you know. And also, ladies, we should know how to cope with our insecurities, how to deal with our insecurities. Not every time it's fighting, arguing. I came to realize fighting and arguing doesn't solve anything. But instead, it makes things even more worse. You know? It makes things to become more worse. Sababu today you fight, tomorrow you argue, the other day you fight, and even more fighting, bado unapata problems ni zile. So una end up kujicreatia some mental health, kujicreatia some mental disabilities that are not there. Una overthink, you can't even sleep at night. Yani unafikiria tu huyu jamaa kwani is he playing me? Does he have some other women, something? Sometimes we even create stories in our mind. We create stories, and those stories we make them to be reality by hadi unapata umejiconcludia in your mind. And some of them might be allegations, some of them might not be true, though some might be true, I don't know. But I think the only solution is sit down, talk. Sometimes if it's worse, imekuwa too much, you can involve a third party, maybe a parent, akuja intervene. Yeah, and I think you can be able to solve the problem. Another thing as I conclude on this Boychild issue is the domestic violence. You know, people know that domestic violence is for women, they involve victims being women. So domestic violence, yes, katai, most of the victims are women, but we also have male victims in domestic violence. We have women who beat men up. Yeah, we do have them. And I even have a friend who is my friend, and I cannot mention her here, but where she was a sniper. She was literally, I remember there was a time I visited them in Kakamega. She was literally slapping her husband when I'm there. Where? Hey, let me tell you, domestic violence, as much as imekuwa too much on sijui ni women wanakuwa mistreated, women ndio wanapigwa, women ndio wanateswa, women ndio wanakuwa abused, it's not the case. Men also, I've seen even ministers wanapigwa na bizao, they go report. And I even realized when you go, you as a man, ukienda ku report this issue, maybe you're going to report it to write a note in the police station that my wife has beaten me up, my wife has abused me physically. They won't even take you seriously. Watakwambia, wewe jamaa acha mchezo wewe. Ama wewe kijana acha mchezo wewe kijana. Are you sure? Like, they don't even believe it wewe umepigwa ama nini. Yani they like, kwani si, I'm sure in their mind wako like, a man unapigwa na bibi yako, kwani you can't even defend yourself, you can't even fight back. You know, that's how the society thinks of men. Like they'll have to fight back. They are stronger than women. They'll have to. They cannot be beaten, in short. They cannot be abused by women. You know. And you see this make it even more hard for this institution to understand that women wanna abuse men either physically, unaweza abuse even mentally, you can abuse them in so many ways. But the society doesn't understand. Imezoea the other way around, where it's the women who are the victims of domestic violence. But we should know also men are victims of domestic violence, and whenever they come for help, please, any institutions, whether it's a non-governmental or governmental, we should be able to listen to them and help them, even in cases, all these things, obese, easy P3s. Men also undergo this domestic violence, so I think we should also consider them and take them seriously, unlike what is happening in our society currently. And people who won't take you seriously, like, okay, what do you expect when especially with these gentlemen? But they are these type of men that I really like. A man who doesn't raise his hand to beat a woman. I think any man who raises his hand to beat a woman, you are a psycho. I think you are a psycho. If you raise your hand to a woman, to beat a woman or to slap a woman or to do anything bad to a woman, trust me, you have a mental challenge. You are mentally challenged. You are mentally disabled. You are not conscious. Your conscience cannot tell you to beat a woman because of something. Your conscience cannot tell you to raise a hand on a woman. And so, she'll refrain. And coming to think of it, doesn't mean that when a woman maybe slaps you, that you should fight back. No. Definitely you're strong. Okay, I can't say definitely, but 96% of men are strong, honestly. Even if you'll see him weak like this, and then wewe utamchokoza, maybe umslap hivi unataka kumpiga, akiamka kutoka hapo utapigwa. You can even die. And as much as you think some men are weak, at us women unapata maybe umezoea tu kumpiga, umezoea kumharasi and there, and you think he's weak. He's not weak. He doesn't want to lay a hand on you. He doesn't want kuchukuliwa sheria. Anajua sheria. He knows the law. So he knows when he raises a hand on you, utaenda uchukue P3, utaenda umshtaki, and you know, and not even about understanding the law. I think he was raised in a disciplined family. He is a disciplined man. He's a gentleman, and a gentleman cannot slap or beat up a wife, you know. So they prefer not because they are weak, but because they cannot do that. They cannot. Their conscience cannot allow them to do that. Their discipline, their high level discipline cannot allow them to do that. Their intelligence cannot allow them to do that. Their sanity cannot allow them to do that. But instead they choose to wewe sawa wafanye vile unataka. But akienda kuandika P3 huko nje ama akienda kuandika ubi huko, wanasema kwani hata wewe how weak are you? Ama they are like, really? People, yani hata wewe mwenyewe, if you tell maybe your friends you're going to write a P3 or you're going to write an obi that your wife amekutani, your friends will be like, really hata uoni aibu, like you're not even shame. Yani I don't know how they are treated. Like you should be shameful doing that. Sasa hata ule Boychild anaona aibu, anaona hata anaenda hata nikijipeleka hata kama ameumizwa anaona no need. So anajitibu yeye mwenyewe, anakufa na shida zake. Yeye mwenyewe anajiekea, because if I report itakuwa shame. If I go to report itakuwa shame. If I beat my wife back nitafunguliwa mashtaka. You know, I'll end up in prison. And so they are even confused in one way or the other. Because the society pia imewa neglect, and please let's understand them. Let's support them where we can. Yeah, because even our dads are boys. You know, hata baba zetu pia ni Boychild. So now imagine your dad akifanywa hivyo vile wewe unafanya. You know, it's not even right. So there is also something that I saw, that intervention is crucial before our young male generation gets deferred, and a child is a child. So it should be remembered that no gender is more superior or stronger than the other, you know. But as they get stronger, we must remember to also care for the boy child. It is wrong to empower one sex at the expense of another, as I already told you earlier. You know, let the boy child succumb to destitution, and he is just as vulnerable as the girl child. So I think you will absolutely agree with me 100% that the boy child has been completely forgotten, especially in this 21st century. Take it or leave it, but you can bear with me. And so they lack proper role models, and society is forgetting the boy child needs. So fathers need to take up more responsibility of raising the boy child, and they need to mentor the boys. Churches and other religious institutions also need to implement programs that focus on mentoring the boy child, you know. So this will help in raising a generation with less crime, less employment, and abuse of alcohol and violence. You know, hizi vitu ndio pia zinafanya wa boy child mtu na end up in drugs, this cocaine, heroin, weed, you know. because they also feel neglected in one way or the other. So empower the boy child, and you will see a decrease in all the above that I just mentioned, and chivalry will reappear, you know. So the same people glorifying the girl child don't realize that the same girls they are saving are a victim of neglected men. This is important. And I wrote this I wrote this yesterday when I was doing my research, you know, that, and I repeat that these same people glorifying the girl child don't realize that the same girls they are saving are a victim of neglected men. Yeah. And so save the girl child all you want, but you are simply curing a symptom and not a disease. You see, ignore the boy child at your own peril. And I think as I conclude, I also want to urge the activists and the ministries of gender. We should have gender equality. And by equality, I mean treat the girl child the same way. Treat the boy child the same way you treat the girl child. Give the needs to the boy child the same way you give the girl child's needs, you know. And please, let's also come up to the forgotten boy out there, come up to the forgotten girl. See eti kila time eti ukisikia ni girl child amekosa fee, you will chip it, but if it's boy child, then anaweza jitafutia. They're also human. Boy children are also human, like the girl child, you know. Doesn't mean it because we are maybe akona mtoto and that kid is a girl child. Now, will you let that girl child ateseke at the expense of you not supporting the boy child? You see, now it's a circumnavigation. That circumnavigation is what leads to all this. So if you try to circumnavigate all these, I am not supporting the girl child, one of them is a victim of the other. One of the other is a victim of the other, you know. So ukisacumnavigate unakuja back to the girl child. Ukineglect the boy child, somehow may neglect the girl child indirectly, you know. So please, boy child, tuwakumbuke, to understand. They also have feelings. They are also using blood like any other human being, and let's not neglect them. Let's not forget about them. And with this, I think we will have an equal and a fair society where people are mentally stable, yeah, and where we can reduce these levels of depression and others because of neglection, because of people being victims of the others and all that. So thank you guys for watching. Also watch my other videos that I've spoken about mental health awareness, and I'm also a poet. I've done various poetry vlogs, and I've written most of my poems are about depression, heartbreaks, and because I'm a victim and a survivor of depression, that's why I've written a lot about depression and mental health awareness. So until next time, bye bye. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll appreciate a lot. Also like, watch, and comment if possible. See you till next time.